have discussed about the principle of superposition theorem, and based on this, let's see one example related to it. The problem statement of the example is you have mentioned the 2 point charges, that is 1 millicoulomb and minus 2 millicoulomb, that is located on 3, 2, minus 1 and minus 1, 1 and 4 respectively. Calculate the electric force on 10 nanocoulomb, that is located on the location 0, 3 and 1. So here the 3 point charges are there. First point charge is 1 millicoulomb, second one is minus 2 millicoulomb, and third one is the 10 nanocoulomb. So here you have to find. So in this case, the force on 10 millicoulomb can be calculated due to these 2 point charges, that is of minus 2 millicoulomb and the 1 millicoulomb. So force on 10 nanocoulomb due to these 2 point charges, that is minus 2 millicoulomb and 1 millicoulomb should be calculated. So for that case, you have to find out the force on 10 nanocoulomb due to minus 2 millicoulomb and force on 10 nanocoulomb due to this 1 millicoulomb. So let's first calculate both the forces. So here let's first calculate the force on 10 nanocoulomb due to this first coulomb charge, that is 1 millicoulomb. So here F13 can be given by the Q1 Q3 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 R13 square into E13. Here R13 means the distance between the third point charge and first point charge. That's why here we write R13 square means magnitude of the distance between the point charge Q3 and point charge Q1, while E13 is the unit vector of distance, means distance upon magnitude between these 2 point charges. So here F13 can be given like this. So for that case, you have to first find out the distance between the point charge 1 and point charge 3. So R13 means you have to do the R3 minus R1, because we have to find out the force on point charge Q3. So that's why we have to subtract the location of Q1 from that point. Means 0, 3, 1 minus 3, 2 minus 1. That gives us answer minus 3, 1, 2. So that is our answer for R13. But we have to do the magnitude of that, means you have to take the square root of individual component like this. Minus 3 square plus 1 square plus 2 square, and taking the square root of it, that gives us the value for the magnitude of R13. Now for finding out the unit vector for Q3, so for Q3 R13 divided by magnitude of R13, so it will be the vector upon magnitude. Vector means minus 3, 1, 2 divided by magnitude means minus 3 square plus 1 square into plus 2 square. So here the given coordinate system is Cartesian coordinate system. So answer will be in terms of Ax, Ay and Az. So it will be like this: minus 3Ax plus Ay plus 2Az upon magnitude of it means root 40. So this is our unit vector E13. Now we have the value of distance as well as the value of unit vector. So let's put it in the equation of Coulomb's law. So if we, before calculating the individual force, let's first calculate the distance as well as unit vector for the second case also. For the second case, we have to find out the force on Q3 due to the second point charge Q2. So for that, R23 will be calculated. Now again, the force on Q3 due to Q1 will be calculated. So for that case, we have to first find out the distance R23. Distance R23 means R3 minus R2, because our source point is point 2. That's why we have to subtract it from the location of Q3 charge, that is R3. So R3 minus R2. We have the location of both point charges. So let's put it in this equation. So it gives us value 0, 3, 1 minus 1 and 4. So it will be again 1, 4 and minus 3. This is in terms of vector form. Now for calculating the unit vector, we have to find the vector upon magnitude. Vector is our 1, 4, minus 3. For finding out the magnitude, what we have to do is, we have to do the square root of the individual component. So it will be like this. Again, R23 bar means vector upon magnitude means mode of R23 means 1, 4, minus 3 divided by square root of 1 square plus 4 square plus minus 3 square. So it gives us value for A23 is AX plus 4AY minus 3AZ upon magnitude, that is root 26. So now we have the magnitude, unit vector as well as distance value for both the charges. So let's do the force on Q3 due to Q1. So force on Q3 due to Q1 means you have to use the R13 and R31 formula. So here F13 can be calculated like Q1 and Q3 because we have to find out the force on point charge Q3 due to Q1. So this both point charges will be involved. So in that case, you have to take the multiplication of Q1 and Q3. So Q1, Q3 upon 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0. 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 is nothing but the constant. So Q1, Q3 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 into R13 square. R13 square is the distance between point charge Q3 and Q1. Here our source point is charge Q1. So what we have to do is we have to subtract the location of Q1 from Q3 that we already done in the previous slide. So let's use it in this slide for putting the values in this equation. So it will be like this. Q1 charge is nothing but 1 millicoulomb. 1 millicoulomb means 1 into 10 raised to minus 3. Then Q3 charge is 10 nanocoulomb means 10 into 10 raised to minus 9 coulomb. Divide by 1 upon 4 pi epsilon 0. Epsilon 0 is free space permittivity. Here in this case, in the problem statement, there is no medium is mentioned. So that's why we have used free space as a medium. So permittivity of free space is 8.85 into 10 raised to minus 12. So it will be like this, 4 pi 8.85 into 10 raised to minus 12 into the magnitude of R13, that is root 14 square, into unit vector between 3 and 1 means vector upon magnitude that we have already calculated in the previous slide. So let's use it over here. So minus 3AX plus AY minus 2AZ upon magnitude means root 40. Okay. So if we do the simplification of this equation, that you have to first simplify this scalar term and then you have to multiply it with the vector term. So it will be like 10 raised to minus 3 into 10 raised to minus 9 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 into root 14 square into root 40. So you have to first simplify the scalar term and then you have to multiply it with the vector term. So the answer for the first case means force on third charge due to first charge will be like this. Answer minus 5.16 AX plus 1.72 AY plus 3.44 AZ millinewton means 10 raised to minus 3 Newton. This is the case where we have to find out the force on 3 due to first point charge. Now we have already calculated the distance as well as the unit vector for the point charge Q3 and Q2 as well. So let's use the Coulomb's law once again. According to Coulomb's law, force on third point charge due to Q2 will be given like this. Q2 into Q3 upon 4 pi epsilon 0 R23 square into A23. Here R23 is distance between third point charge and second point charge. A23 is the unit vector of distance between third point charge and second point charge. So unit vector is nothing but the vector upon magnitude that we have already calculated in the previous slide. So let's put the values of each component. So it will be like this. Q2 and Q3. Q2 is minus 2 millicoulomb. Q3 is 10 nanocoulomb upon 4 pi epsilon 0 into R23 square, magnitude of distance. means root 26 square into A23. A23 means unit vector from 2 to 3 means 3 minus 2. So it will be ax plus 4ay minus 3az upon root 26. Root 26 is magnitude. So this gives us answer. In this case also you have to first simplify the scalar term and then you have to multiply it with the vector form. So it will be easy. So the answer for this is minus 1.36 ax minus 5.44 ay plus 4.08 az millinewton. So this is the individual force that is calculated on Q3 due to first point charge Q1 as well as the second point charge Q2. So now let's calculate the total charge on the point charge Q3 due to first as well as due to second. So it will be like this. Force on 3 due to first point charge plus force on 3 due to second point charge. So this both values will be added and gives us answer like minus 6.52 ax minus 3.72 ay plus 7.52 az millinewton. Now let's go to the next topic, that is standard charge configuration. We have already discussed about the various type of distribution in the first unit, that the charge can be of line, the charge can be in form of surface, or charge can be in form of volume. So based on this, let's see the first type of charge, that is line charge configuration. In this line charge configuration, the whole charge is equally or uniformly distributed over the line like this. Here you can see that in this particular line, the charge is uniformly distributed. So if we do the partition of the whole line, then it will be like in this small form like dl1, dl2 up to dln. So now in this case, if someone wants to find out the total charge, then he or she have to do the integration from the starting point dl1 to dln, means all the point charges or all the line charges will be added. So in short, they have to do the integration. Here, for example, the rho L means line charge density. Now this charge is equally distributed over the line. Line means unit is meter and charge is uniformly distributed means line charge density means equally distributed charge means coulomb over line means unit of the rho L. Line charge density is coulomb per meter. So in this case, the line charge rho L can be given by total charge that is spread over line divided by the length of line, means unit is coulomb per meter. So if we want to find out the total charge, so it will be dq is equal to rho L into dl. That is the case when we take the small partition of the charge. Now if we want to find out the total charge, we have to do the integration on both the sides. So want to find out the total charge on the small partition, means q is equal to integration rho L dl. Okay. Same way, if we want to find out the surface charge means charge is uniformly distributed over the surface like this. Here this is a surface and we have done the small partition of the surface like dx1, dx2, dsn. So here the surface charge density is given by rho s. So in short, rho s is total charge spread over surface divided by the area of surface, means charge is q divided by area means meter square. So unit of rho s is coulomb per meter square. Here in this case, the small partition of the charge will be given like dq. So dq is equal to rho s ds. This is the case when we have to find out the charge on the small partition. But if we want to find out the total charge, then we have to do the integration of above equation, means q is equal to integration rho s ds. Now for the third one, means for the volume charge distribution. The volume charge will be distributed like this. Here the volume charge density is rho v and it will be distributed over complete volume. means again charge per unit volume gives a volume charge density rho v. So rho v is equal to charge filled in volume divided by total volume. So charge means coulomb per meter cube. Here the differential charge is given like dq is equal to rho v dv, where rho v is the volume charge density and dv is the differential volume. This is the case when we want to find out the differential charge, but if we want to find out the total charge, then we have to take the integration of this equation. So it will be integration rho v dv. So this is about all the three types of charge distribution. Based on this, let's see one example related to it. For xyz positive, find the total charge within a region bounded by x, y and z is in between 0 to 2 and the volume charge density is 40 x, y, z coulomb per meter cube. Here the volume charge density is given and the distribution is given. So according to the standard charge configuration, we have to do the volume charge configuration. So for that case, the q is given by integration over volume rho v dv, because dq is rho v dv. So if we want to find out the charge q, means integration over volume rho v dv. Here the value of rho v is 40 x, y, z. So dv is dx, dy and dz. Value of rho v 40 x, y, z as it is. You have to integrate it over dx, dy and dz. The bounded region is between 0 to 2. So it will be like this: 40, x is x square by 2, y is y square by 2 and z is z square by 2. The limit of all is 0 to 2. So if you calculate it, it gives an answer for the charge, that is 320 coulomb. So this is how you can find out the total charge in case of volume distribution, as well as for the line distribution, as well as for the surface distribution. So for this case, if you have any doubts or queries regarding this section up to this, you can ask me on my email ID. Thank you for watching.